Today is June 13th, 1985. This is Joe Todd and Bernice Jackson, an interview with Mrs. Zella Warden.
You sit here. Put the Zella May to it.
Zella May Warden.
M-A-Y.
M-A-Y.
Someone told me my picture was on TV yesterday or the day before, and I told them I was going to start a suit, just like that lady did.
Mm-hmm. Where were you born?
In Hodgeman County, Kansas.
And when's your birthday?
I told you it was the 9/9/1891. Now, how old does that make me?
Oh, about 94
In September.
in September. Who is your father?
Benowell Kline. B-E-N-E-W-E-L-L. K-L-I-N-E.
And your mother?
Catherine Elizabeth Glethart Kline. C-A-T-H-E-R-N.
Where were your parents from?
And Dad, I think, was born in Ohio, and Mother in Wisconsin.
How come they went to Kansas?
I think Dad went out there and filed on land, homestead.
Was he in the Civil War?
No,
Were any of your grandfathers in the Civil War?
my grandfather Glethart was.
Did you know him?
Yes, but I can't remember. I guess about 10, 12 years old when he died.
Ever hear any stories about the Civil War?
No, I don't remember him telling any.
Did your father file on a quarter section in Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
As a little girl, what chores did you do on the farm up there?
What?
What chores did you do around the farm?
Why, everything that was to be done. We all worked. Each one had their chores for a week or so, and so many days at a time.
And what was your chore?
Well, my goodness, everything. We'd cook and we'd wash and we'd milk cows and separate the cream with the separator. Just everything like that. Raise chickens and ducks and geese.
Where was the nearest town to your farm?
Dodge City, Kansas. About 30 miles. But we had that smaller town of Jetmore, Kansas. That's a big oil field in there now.
Can you tell me what Dodge City looked like first time you went there?
No, I don't remember it.
And when did your family move to Oklahoma?
1913, I think. Now, wait a minute. Yes, I believe it was.
1913. And why did your family move to Oklahoma?
Oh, Dad was just out, brothers looking for places, and he just fell in love with this place down here because it had a lot of water on it, springs and things.
And where was this place?
What?
Where was this place?
I can't tell you. I can't even remember who has it now.
Is it around Woodward?
Oh, yes. And I've always been so mixed up in the directions here that I believe it was north and east of Woodward.
How did you move to Oklahoma?
And covered wagons, drove herd and cattle through.
Tell me about the trip.
No, that's all I can remember, just wearisome and dirty. And you got awfully tired. Yes, Mom. It seems to me.
Did you have to walk any of the way and herd cattle or anything?
No, I usually drove the team to the buggy.
Oh.
And drove behind the cattle.
I see.
How many head of cattle did you bring down?
I don't remember.
How many wagons were in the group?
I think there was only one or two. It might have been three. I don't remember.
And then the buggy?
I believe there was just one then when we brought the cattle down.
Did you make more than one trip to move?
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
What did you pack in the wagons to bring with you?
Why, bed clothing and food and things that we'd have to use.
What type of food did you bring with you to eat along the trip?
Why, just anything that you want. Get. We never starved for food. Always had plenty to eat.
How long did the trip take?
I don't remember. But don't seem to me that was much more than a week.
What type of a house did you have on your farm when you came? What type of a house did you have on your farm when you landed here? Was it a sod house or?
Oh, no.
It was a frame house?
Dad's house was a 4-room frame house, and then they built onto it.
Well, you were lucky. So many of them had to build sod houses that came in those days.
Well, but sod houses, we were used to sod houses in Kansas. I never lived in one. My folks had one, but before I was born, we had a big frame house up there in Kansas.
Yes.
Yes, it was built 3 years before I was born.
Well, Jimmy told me that your father used to come down and get some game and kill it, you know, to take it back to sell it in Kansas. Can you tell us about some of those trips that your father made?
No.
Or was that your husband?
Why, no. I don't think it was either one of them.
You don't remember them telling you
I
about
don't
it?
remember that.
Well, I may have you mixed up with someone else. I interview so many people.
Well, I don't think that was in our family then.
Well, okay.
But I don't remember them ever doing that.
On the farm down here, where was your nearest neighbor?
Clint Morrow, I believe they were. There was just across the field, but the Stingelmeyers. But I can't tell you what direction.
How far did they live from you?
Oh, I would say maybe a half a mile or. Yes, I would. That is from Dad's place.
When did you come to Woodward for the first time?
First time I was to Woodward was in 1910.
1910?
Were the boarding springs on any of the land that you're?
No.
It was north of there?
North and east, I believe.
Well, there are boiling springs on Jimmy's dad's place, aren't they?
Well, I wouldn't know. I was always so bewildered with the directions. I never have got them straightened out.
Well, that's such a terrible feeling.
Yes, it is. You're lost.
Yes.
You're just confused and don't know what to do.
How big was Woodward in 1910? Do you remember some of the names of the prominent people at that time?
Let's see, there was Gerlach and Hopkins. Didn't they have a big store? And then there was 2 banks, wasn't there?
I think you're right.
Bank of Woodward, was it the Bank of, no, it was Gerlach and Hopkins. Gerlach Bank, and it must have been the Bank of Woodward. But that don't sound right to me either. You folks come just as a bad day.
You're not feeling too
Oh, I
bad?
had an awful bad spell last night.
Oh, you did, Mom. Sorry.
I have a bad gastric stomach. I ate some sour pickles.
Well, we won't keep you long. You, how many was in your family? How many brothers and sisters did you have?
Now let's see, Dad had three children before he and Mother were married. And then she had 8.
Mm-hmm. Were they all born in Kansas or part of them in Oklahoma?
No. Mother's children were all, Mother's oldest daughter was born in Illinois, and Dad's 3 oldest ones were in Illinois, the rest of us in Kansas.
When you got settled here in Oklahoma, what cash crops did you have? What crops did you raise to get cash? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Only I remember of topping a lot of milo maize and calf corn.
Mm-hmm. And where did you go to school?
I went to school in Kansas.
And then did you finish up here in Oklahoma?
No, I was married.
You were married when you came to Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. And what was your husband's name?
Claude Haddock Warden.
And where did you live, you and your husband?
Oh, we rented a place down. And I believe it's the place where Leo's have it now, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But we rented there for a number of years.
And how many children did you have?
I have 1 son. He's a retired United States commander of the Naval Reserve
Oh, yes. Where does he live?
in Texas, Garland, Texas.
Arlen? Darling. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember World War I? 1917, 1918?
No, my brother was in that war. I remember his leaving, and I remember coming back, and I think that I'd have letters from him if I had letters that he wrote back, but I don't know whether I have them anymore or not.
Are you getting tired?
Getting tired. I'm never anything else but tired.
Well, we'll quit and We'll come back some other time, because I can see you have a wonderful story to tell us.
Yes, I always said we had such a wonderful home and parents.
Yes. Well, we don't want to tire you out.
Okay, thank you.
And
Well, I want to know your name,
Jackson,
Jackson.
Bernice.
I want a card or something.
Joe, you have a card? I'll write my name on it too.
Do you remember the big dust storm?
Do I? Yes, sir, I do. I remember that seeing that come in.
Tell me about that dust storm.
It was on a Sunday evening, and we all we were up at Dad's, and we'd noticed all day had been kind of hazy, like queer, and you had such a queer feeling. And I don't know, someone called, there were several, it seems to be that there were several of us there. Always did have a lot of company. And there were several there, and someone called to us, said to look to the north and west. And it was just a great big black cloud, and then it began to come closer. It seemed like it was rolled like that. And it just seemed to me like it picked the dirt up. Oh, and everything. We run in, and we had the large table set we always had. And we covered that up with newspapers, and then we put the table cover over and got another sheet, and then even went and got a bed quilt and covered that over, but the dust got in under that anyway.
You couldn't keep the dust out?
No, we hung canvases and things over the doors and the windows. It was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the tornado of 1947?
Yes, sir. I had 3 bed-rest patients in my home at that time. We didn't have no nursing homes then. And I stood and watched it, and that tornado come down on the northwest corner of my house and just jumped over it and took the top bricks off of 2 chimneys and went over and never touched our home. I said that's one time I knew God was with me. I had 3 bedfast patients in my home right then.
What did Woodward look like
What?
What did the town look like the next day? Woodward?
I don't know. It was a week or 2 before I was in Woodward or over to see what it looked like, but I know I'd shake my head, and I think I had the papers of that. I was always a miser to keep everything.
I am too.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I had so many papers and all. And my oldest granddaughter, they said, took most of them. And I was glad she did, because she's an antique hunter.
Well, I think that's enough.
Yes, we don't want
Okay.
to tire her out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. No, I just get so tired I can cry. I never was a bald baby, it seemed to me to.
Uh-huh. Well, you weren't expecting us. Now, I called out last night, and the girl told me that was on duty last night,
Uh-huh.
that she would tell you that we wanted to come out this
Why,
morning.
they never told me a thing about it.
Well,
They even have entertainments and things here, and they never tell me a thing about it. I'm just a prisoner here. I would like to go to when some of the singers and all come out. Just, they never tell me. There went the big blackbird across the window.